But, man, pretty quick Death Prophet response from Eagle Boys, so that's another one of these. You're matched up against Ember Spirit mid lane. Why not go Death Prophet?
So I also think they go for the Death Prophet just because of her innate survivability in the mid lane. Our Spirit, you know, he thrives off getting those ganks. Ember Spirit's a really good partner to work with, but DP, you just don't want to be rolling into her because she's going to Spirit siphon you down and live through whatever gank you're able to set up. So I think that's why they go for the DP so quickly, because they feel it'll be able to live through those Earth Spirit rotations.
And something that I think isn't talked about enough, too, in these drafting stages is the insta picks like that when a team is dipping into the reserve time already. It's smart, and hell, you could even take it a step further. That they know that Team Ham is coming off a bad loss. I'm sure they did at least just some quick research, saw their previous game. Maybe they were watching it while their game finished. But point is, they're keeping that pressure on, as they should be, by making them now have to respond sooner than later. I mean, they're already down to 25 seconds of reserve time now, and they still have a final pick to go. Now, granted, they have the first of the final picks, so they're probably thinking about that as well, but it is something that I think it does get overlooked sometimes when analyzing said drafts. But they go for a Wraith King with their fourth option.
So you're gonna have the Wraith King Chen lane versus the Centaur. I mean, I don't know if they're the team that likes to play their Shadow Demon in the 5 position or the 4 position. It's really a bit of whatever you want. I think it's honestly gonna be hard for the Wraith King. We've seen Centaurs dominate lanes, and you know, but Chen, he's a pretty decent support, but I'm honestly still a bit worried for this Wraith King. And as the game goes into later phases, Death Prophet, you know, that percentage-based damage against strength heroes, the Exorcism was also really good. You know, the Radiance doesn't provide any mischance to those spirits. So I don't know if this Wraith King is going to be enough, and especially with the kind of lane he's going to have, if he's going to be able to win the game for Team Ham.
Yeah, one of the biggest weaknesses of Wraith King is getting kited, and they have massive kite on the other side. And also, Shadow Demon Disruption, you talk about the idea of a Radiance Wraith King. Last thing you want to be doing is giving Shadow Demon a target to just easily disrupt and then all of a sudden have Radiance burn for himself. So I'm with you. It really does feel like a funky Wraith King choice by Team Ham, but it goes back to maybe they felt a little pressure with the timing, and they kind of felt like, you know what, we've been picking Wraith King lately. Who knows? Point is, they picked it. Batrider, the 5th pick. They seemed pretty confident with that one. They banned Slark, who is certainly a good Batrider counter, and would have overall been pretty good, I suppose. But all right.
Yeah, the Slark is also good versus the Ember Spirit. You know, you have that pounce until he builds a Yules or something else, able to hold him in place. But Ego Boys, they can just take the Juggernaut, I think. The Jug looks really solid here. You know, you have that healing, give you even more sustain for your push for the side of Ego Boys with that lineup. And Team Ham, they don't really have... The only ranged heroes they have are the Chen and the Batrider, so it's going to be a bit difficult for them to get that healing ward. You can sit behind the Death Prophet. You have that spin for the lane. I think it looks really like a really solid Jug game here.
You know, a little off the wall maybe, but I think a Legion Commander wouldn't be too bad here for Ego Boys. A position 1 LC that they could potentially run for Tamada. One, very good against Batrider, of course. And with that press the attack, his duels this game would be setting up pretty good for a hero like an Ember Spirit. I suppose maybe not as great against a Wraith King, but still, one that I was thinking about maybe a bit off the wall. But the Juggernaut is certainly more of a standard, and wouldn't be surprised to see pick for. I know Tomato likes to play Naga Siren as well. I'm looking at probably not this game though. That is a lot of anti-Naga Siren lineup, so I don't think that.
I think they're thinking between the Jug and the Troll, and I think Jug's just better. I think Lifesteal is a bit slow here, and yeah, there we go. There is the Jug.
Well, fine. They'll go more standard, and that's just fine, I guess. They are playing for ultimately a lot of money on the line, so yeah, we keep hyping up this $30 million prize pool, of course, that it potentially could get to, which is obviously a big deal, of course, as well. But you know, being realistic, the chances, it's going to be a tough competition, and a lot of people maybe don't expect whoever team does qualify to South America may not make it too far in the end. But hell, even if you get last place, one, it's an awesome trip for 2+ weeks that you're going to go to compete in this huge event. and I don't know the exact, but I want to say it's probably around 100,000 minimum for finishing last place in this tournament. So you could say you're at least playing for that much money within your own region in these qualifiers. I mean, that's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous to think of what they're playing for.
These online qualifiers are basically, you get the same winnings as winning a big international tournament. Like it's like winning an ESL even if you come last. So yeah, it's absolutely crazy how much is on the line for all these teams, and especially Team Ham, because they're now down 0-2. They could really use a win, confidence going into tomorrow, and let's see if they're able to get it. But I have to say, I'm a fan of the Ego Boys draft, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I am too. I just, the Bat Rider throws me off a little bit, I guess, as far as it just seemed like they really wanted the Bat Rider, and maybe just a comfort thing for Hestajo Rotten, one that he plays a bit of. But the Ember Spirit matched up into the Death Prophet, not necessarily the most friendly for him, and it goes back to Wraith King though too. The safe lane Wraith King, it didn't necessarily feel like an obvious Wraith King game for Eagle Boys here, but that's what they have, or for Team Ham, excuse me. But that's what they have, and so that's what they're having to stick with, and we'll see how they perform. But I certainly am with you in terms of leaning towards Eagle Boys, being on the Radiant side.
The safe lane Wraith King, I think it's more of just it's a standard meta hero who, even if you don't do so well in the lane, you're able to. He can go to the jungle early. He can recover that farm. He gets a Midas. He scales well into late game. So I think it's just it's a non-committal hero. But Ego Boys, they most certainly have answers for it. I feel Jug, if it goes to the hyper late game, Jug definitely outcarries. He's just that raw DPS damage. And I just, the reason I love this Juggernaut is, firstly, Spin versus Napalm in lane versus the Bat Rider, and as just the healing ward, I always feel it's something that's a slight bit overlooked, but this thing is just so broken. Just 5% heal every second when you're trying to mount a push. Let's say you have a close team fight, but you do manage to win. You get your team back up to full health, and you're able to always get objectives off it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. You see Juggernaut, he's sitting middle lane right now. I think he's just going to block initially for Death Prophet. They're also going to wait to see who's where. My guess is he wants to match up into the Bat Rider, as we're talking about. So they do see Wraith King at the bottom lane. I think he got pinged out, or maybe that was his own ping. So I'm actually not sure if he was seen by now. But you see Tomato at least blocking for his mid hero. And it was a 2-for-2 boundary in exchange, right? Yep, looks like it was. And sure enough, Tomato is heading towards the top lane. And Centaur is coming to the bottom lane. So they do have that information, and they're getting the matchups that they're looking for.
One thing I do want to say, however, is when you're looking for special advantageous lanes versus a Chen, that is just so difficult. Because to get the correct lanes, often you have to use a TP after you've walked there the first time. But once that TP is on cooldown, the team with the Chen, they could just use the Divine Favor to set up the lanes in their favor. Yeah. So it is a bit difficult to get that advantageous lanes, but they do have the Jug versus the Bat. So Ego Boys, they're going to be happy with how this game is starting.
That is true. Yeah, and we'll see if that's something that Team Ham tries to capitalize with. Maybe send a TP up there and then have Chen TP up there and then have him take somebody with him. But for now, it's going to be Wraith King picking up a stick from the side jump, and they go back to farming. So he certainly is already off to a decent start considering what we're looking at, but Hestajo Rotten is matched up against the Juggernaut up top. Hits level 2. Able to get Firefly now. Just applying those sticky napalms. Eventually going to get the spin to be used. It's just a matter of time as Matthew also nearby, though, on the Shadow Demon. So going to have the poison stack start adding up, and that's something Bat Rider will have to respect, certainly. He can't just freely harass, knowing what he's up against there. As Chen harassing with the Alpha Wolf at the bottom lane, going up against Raisin playing the Grimstroke. This is a free farming lane right now for the Wraith King. Both Centaur and Grimstroke are pretty distracted with what's going on. Huh. Did he just block his own camp right there? I think so, yeah. He puts a sentry down to actually block the pole camp, essentially preventing Chen from getting a good creep.
Yeah, so they do have a tri-lane here in the bottom, which is definitely helping the Wraith King. The Juggernaut here in this top lane, he's just going to be A-OK, and the Shadow Demon actually fighting up against the Bat. But bottom lane is where the kill happens.
Yeah, I was watching that actually. They just roll in and it comes together. Chen just there to assist a little bit of right-click damage, and it was just too much pressure from Grimstroke to handle. So he's just going to TP to the top lane. He says, "I'm done with that already. I don't want to just give up deaths, of course, but it is a funky spot to be in because Grimstroke feels like it's going to be a very tough game, and he is position 5, I'm pretty sure, as Mastermind got really low there in the middle lane, by the way, but managed to live.
I wanted to talk about this mid lane matchup because we did see a game earlier today where the Ember Spirit was able to do decent against the Death Prophet against... Oh, wow. The tri-lane does pay off in the top lane.
Yeah, I didn't catch that, unfortunately. Oh, mid lane. Drake in. He gets tossed back. More so pushed back by Viver. Been seeing a lot of Tiny lately. It's a kickback from her Spirit. And easy kill for them there. So, yeah, Death Prophet did not expect the rotation from her Spirit. Drake and AK in Leo style gets killed as a result.
Yeah, just as I was praising the Death Prophet for doing better than the other DP the other day, it feeds away a kill, overextending. But even after that kill, I think the DP should be doing very well here.
You see the Flame Guard go up and immediately throws out a Crypt Swarm and a couple of auto attacks. He has another Crypt Swarm coming up. Yeah, he's going to say he might get a kill. Mastermind's in trouble. He's dead. Drinking. Yeah, sure, he just gave up a kill previous to this, but you really can tell he is comfortable with this matchup, and it is going to be difficult for Ember Spirit as the levels have added up now.
Yeah, and it looks like the side of Ego Boys, they really are feeling it. Happy with how he's doing in the mid lane, just giving him the tips, and that's how you know team morale is high. When they're ready not to just give the offensive tips, when they're going to give you, you know, the positives, like, you've done well.
Good team support. Nothing wrong with that. As Pepita continues to harass with the Alpha Wolf at the bottom. Although an Arcane Rune on Shadow Demon means these poisons are going to be pretty potent, adding up quickly. Trying to kill the Alpha Wolf. Oh, we can't get the third stack. And he'll just take over the Hellburst Smasher instead. Will Shannon now use that to harass with. So the lanes have come about now. As at the top lane, even Earth Spirit was up here a little bit. Batrider's running at Grimstroke. It's not going to go for any play just yet, though. Now Juggernaut needs to be careful. But you mentioned the heal ward. He has it out, although it's killed off there. And now with Earth Spirit running in, this could be a kill on Juggernaut. It sure is. Wow. Damage adds up pretty quickly, and Tomato ends up getting picked off. 5-minute Banner Rune spawn. Raisin, he can't get his in time. Viver's able to snatch it first. And I believe that means we're going to see a 3-for-1 favoring Team Ham. Yep, we are.
Yeah, unfortunately here on Raisin, the Inkswell didn't latch quite in time to allow him to get that rune. And really good plays by Hester Rotten in the top lane. I think they had probably used the Blade Fury offensively already. So knowing it was on cooldown, just going for those stacks, able to take down Tomato. So really well played there.
Centaur, only 901 CS. Yeah, again, not too good. Benches, just trying to simply get levels really down here. But man, how about a free farming Wraith King? A bit different than when the Wraith King we saw earlier, who had a very big struggle early on in the laning phase. Skidder not the case. He's 35-20. Top CS in the game by quite a bit. And of course he does have the Midas queued up as well as top lane, by the way. More action. They're just clustered out on top of that Firefly. It is a kill, however. Going for the turn is Tomato. Is it enough, though? It doesn't look like he doesn't have an Omni Slash, of course. He needs to just turn and run now. And in fact, Shadow Demon got canceled, I believe. Shadow Demon was TPing in, but I'm pretty sure he got canceled by Chen, or he just might have canceled it himself, actually. Either way, it doesn't happen. And that's it.
Chen, I don't think he quite has the creep to cancel a TP just yet. But yeah, it's exactly the same. This Wraith King, absolute free farm. He's gone for the phase boots, which I really do think are the better boots here on the Wraith King, because they allow him to just get that little bit more aggressive. And more importantly, they also really help with his early armor issues.
Also going to get that Gloves of Haste on his way to the Hand of Midas that we talked about. How about this Chen picking up the Kobold Foreman? Not one we see a lot of, but I personally love this neutral creep. I do think it's a bit underrated, the move speed, the 12% move speed. And the 1200 radius is actually pretty good. You know, I'm not sitting here saying it's something we should be seeing, especially in the early. But once you have your army built up later on in the game, I do think having one of those is actually a pretty cool idea. But Pepita using it right now to just, I suppose, rotate around and harass Grimstroke whenever he finds him or wherever else. And in fact, also going to get some wards down in the meantime.
Yeah, he's just using it to get those early rotations. But now that he is successfully level 2 in the Holy Persuasions, he's able to get the slightly bigger creeps of level 5. I think the only non-level 6 big creep is the Satyr, the Hadouken, the Hadouken creep with the great aura. But you can get Hellbear Smashers, you can get Harpies. And so that's really what you're looking for. With the Hellbear, he is rotating into the mid lane, actually.
But Death Prophet, don't think they're killing him. Death Prophet's got the level 3 Spirit Siphon. Got some wand charges, and in fact, Papita's the one that's found now. Shadow Demon catches. Going for the quick burst, and Shen TP's out, but it doesn't. Oh no, that was actually, he survives. Ben just goes down. Meanwhile, at the bottom lane.
Has the Joe Rotten rotated, so you know you just have the setup at the start. They start building up the Saxon Napalm, and remember this is a level 4 Centaur compared to the already the level 6 of the offlane Batrider. So the lanes they do seem to be favoring the side of Team Ham so far.
Yeah, slight 1,000 net worth lead for them. Earth Spirit's rotating to the bottom lane because they are diving the tower. Wraith King, he is in there. Weak Swell going to save Tomato for now. He also has an Omni Slash. Finds the time to use it. You got the Hellbear Smasher supporting. However, it's going to be killed off, and the Firefly eventually wearing off for Hester Joe Rotten. So he's still got his lasso. Can't find the opportunity for it though. Even Draken TP's in. 2 assists right here. He's got his 11 wand charges, so he could try to set up a turn and maybe even wand and exorcism if he really wants to. Tomato's going to keep running away or even spinning away for the time being, but here we go. The initiation from Mastermind going in for the Tomato. Pops the Omni Slash, hit every single hit on it. Mastermind ends up going down because of it. However, they're still chasing. Tomato somehow still alive. Finally goes down. Draken, can he take this damage now? Lasso, he has to siphon up. Hester Rotten, in a sense, almost helping get him himself killed right there as he drags him up the ledge. That'll be the end of that, or will it? Viver trying to get away with a roll. Unfortunately cannot, gets blocked, but he is going to keep running and make his way out of that. That was quite the dive. I mean, the tier 1 tower is still up, and they were going all the way to tier 2.
I mean, this honestly seems a bit characteristic of what we've seen today. The teams, after, you know, taking a good engagement, they knew the Juggernaut was low. You know, they're just chasing this man. They know he's very low. They know he doesn't have spin. So they want to continue pressuring when they can. But they're just chasing too fast, so they don't just settle for the easy objective, which is this tier 1 tower. And then they get turned around on. I thought the rotation for the Death Prophet of Daken was, you know, it was going to hurt a lot because it gave space to Mastermind in the mid lane. But Mastermind, he came for that fight, and then Daken, a great silence by the Grim Stroke of Raisin, and they just Omni-Slashed on the Ember Spirit. So things going the way of Ego Boys in the end.
10 minutes in now. See the Bounty Rune control coming out. Looks like it is a 3-for-1 for Ham once again. So yeah, keeping that net worth lead in their favor, and also Wraith King with the Hand of Midas finished. Seeing he use it right away, so he takes a good 600 or so net worth lead over the Death Prophet in this case. Skitter's certainly looking good as far as going off, but Death Prophet also keeping nearby as the Yule's queued up at least, and Juggernaut too. What Juggernaut build are we seeing in this game? It is going to be drums for Tomato. Obviously a hero that you could go a plethora of choices. In fact, this game, sticking Battle Fury maybe. I mean, he's certainly kind of the one core that they could have built around for the late game, but he's at least going to go drums for now.
Yeah, well, the thing about the Battle Fury is the build up to it is just it takes way too long. And it seems the drum Maelstrom, it helps you farm almost as fast as having a Battle Fury. You know, you do get that little bit of AoE, you get that bonus attack speed, but the Juggernaut here, found by the lasso and the silence, and they're gonna get the kill. Hester Joe Rotten. They're showing why this Batrider is his signature hero, well indeed.
Yeah, they final picked it. They picked it pretty decisively there. Absolutely agree there. It's clearly a comfortable hero for him, and finding the kill on a Juggernaut. That lockdown as well from Biver to assist, guaranteeing the kill. In fact, bottom lane now, Centaur, he could be in some trouble. Wraith King's like, yes, please fight me. I'm totally by myself, but trying to buy a little bit of time for the teammates to get in here and then collapse on a Benjiz. But Benjiz, oh, he might be in trouble still. Wraith Fire Blast goes through. There's the slow as well applied from Biver of the Boulder Smash as the tower goes down for the Dire team. But they still want this kill. Stampede, it can't get away with the stun though. A roll further in, the Stampede gonna wear off, the Centaur stomp on top of that, and there's just no moving for that Centaur War Runner. A kill on a Benjiz.
That is just tough to watch, you know, centaur on centaur violence in the bottom lane. But yeah, great work there. And I don't know if you noticed, but Skitter, when he was level 7, he actually maxed out the Wraithfire Blast before he went for that 4 points of Mortal Strike. So it was clear that they wanted to fight early. And oh, Dakin over here, he is going to be able to get a kill on that Spirit.
Matthew actually getting credit for the kill. Almost unfortunate, I feel like, but at the same time, hey, supports need farm too. Let's get 360 plus gold as a result, and he's already got the Arcane Boots, looking to finish in 8th of lens. We talked about earlier how that's such a good item on that hero. So that's good news for the Radiant team. But yeah, interesting with the Wraith King. You mentioned Wraithfire Blast level 4, you know, that ASAP. And he is building into an armlet too. So he went the Radiance first. It doesn't mean that he just wants to sit back and farm this whole game. He's going to go an armlet and look to assist fighting sooner than later once again. Once he finishes that, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's really interesting. It's not a build I've seen recently, people going for the armlet. He might still stop off with the Radiance later, but it should allow him to just continue the early aggression for the dire side. And let's be honest, they do have a lot of ability to pick people off. So just that extra damage coming from the armlet could be really nice because, you know, Hester Joe, he'll get a good lasso on someone. The Wraith King, he just wants to be able to provide that burst of damage with the crits, and the armlet's going to let him do that.
Yeah, being delivered out now, and I wouldn't be surprised if he goes more the Echo Saber route after to follow this. Usually with that armlet build, it's armlet Echo Saber is pretty popular, you know, at least style of build, but usually you don't go the minus on top of that, I feel like. But yeah, it's bots, by the way, coming in from Hesijo Rotten as he ports into the Chen creeps, but they might have bit off a little bit too much that they could chew here. Grimstroke there with the soul bind. They wears off eventually though. Lasso on it. Juggernaut pulls him onto the ledge. Going to be disrupted as he gets there. Where will he end up? Oh, he got an Omni Slash though onto the creeps. He just wanted to get back down as he does. So far, nobody is dead though for the time being. Tomato, he's just trying to heal on up. Gets the spin off before the Centaur stomp. And now he's spinning back in, but with the hand of God, probably don't want to commit further. Leo style, he kind of wanted to. He had the siphon up. The exorcism, of course, taking plenty of damage. The magnetizes up, though, and down goes Death Prophet. So that exorcism, it's now disappeared. Bench is in trouble. He's going to be disrupted, likely to fall as soon as he comes down, however. And that is indeed how it goes. So he falls. A Wraithfire Blast going to be canceled due to the spin of Juggernaut. And Matthew gets credit for a kill on a Wraith King, actually. So Wraith King could not reincarnate. He was actually just shy of mana for his reincarnate. That's unfortunate. He also had some stick charges, it looks like. Either way, they're still diving. They want to kill Juggernaut too. Biver, I think, okay, he is out actually. The TP decision as they're diving deep into the base proves to be right. I mean, there's a tier 1 mid tower still up, and they're going to the tier 3 base tower. That was quite the dive.
I mean, I have to say, it seems that dive paid off. Other than the death on your Wraith King, he was just like 15 mana short from that, which really does hurt. One thing I do have to say, it's exactly as you pointed out, probably the coolest part of that fight, where the Juggernaut disrupted on the high ground, so he has to Omni Slash the Chen creep to make it down.
Yeah,
that was a really quite funny.
It's funny, but man, that's also a sad moment when you're seeing a Juggernaut used for mobility purposes just to start getting yourself involved in a fight. Yeah, that's definitely not where you want to be. It's quite the reaction though from Tomato. You figured, yeah, using it right away, and again, I get it, but man, that's not a best feeling in the world. So you got a 4,000 net worth lead now on Team Ham after that.
Well, one other point I have to make is the side of Ego Boys. It really seemed they had a point where they could have backed off and gone to safety instead of continuing the fight against Team Ham. But that was just after the DP used the ultimate that Team Ham were backing. And then Ego were like, we've used this DP ultimate. We really have to get something from it. And it's at that point they overextend and Ham are able to really regain the victory and the control of that fight.
So we mentioned the 4,000 net worth lead for the Dire team. Now, you can't overlook, though, both Death Prophet and Juggernaut are actually number 2 and 3 in the game right now. So the cores on the Radiant side are looking pretty good. I think where it really comes down to is that Centaur. The Centaur struggled early on. We've talked about that. Certainly showing. He's trying to build a Blink Dagger at least. He's got 1,300 gold saved up, so he went the double Bracer casually initially to help bulk himself up here, but Blink Dagger to follow. And once he has that, the net worth doesn't necessarily matter the most. We'll have a strong initiation tool But I'm seeing Wraith King, he's actually got the Desolator now queued up, so kind of a different direction. Wants more of the minus armor to go with this early armlet that he has instead.
Yeah, I mean, just more of that physical damage, more of that burst. And it means when they do get the lasso, maybe onto the spinning Juggernaut, maybe the Death Prophet before, you know, you want to be able to burst these heroes because the Jug, he can either, if he hasn't already, he can spin to get out, or he can Omni Slash wherever he's been brought to. The Death Prophet is going to be, you know, getting off those Spirit Siphons. So it's really all about as much damage as he can output as quickly as possible. And I think that's why he hasn't gone for the Radiance, because the Radiance is sustained DPS in the fight, not giving you burst. And Skitter, he's just looking to be able to get those big crits.
Biver, even if he dies here, this is worth it. He just tanks this whole smoke gank. He is going to be disrupted. But yeah, they just smoked, looking to wrap around and try to go for an initiation. But they do kill Biver. Mid lane Tomato, he's spinning. They get the tower kill on the side of Team Ham. Purge on a Skitter, so Skitter is kind of forced to fight now. Soulbind up as well. It doesn't really connect, it looks like. Skitter just manning up and eventually goes down with the Reincarnate, bringing it back up soon. Matthew gets picked off. The Omni Slash bouncing around. There's a lot of creeps, however, but Skitter's melting the hand, and God can't even save him now. 45 seconds he's going to be out of the fight for, so Ego Boys fighting strong and proving to be the right direction for them there. And this Juggernaut, he's a good Omni Slash. Again, he's also pretty farmed, as is the Death Prophet. So don't let that overall net worth fool you too much. As I say this, you have Death Prophet in some trouble. Went too far. The Exorcism not going to do too much at that point. Just about over anyways, but gets taken out. In fact, they're going to lose Grimstark as well. Now Matthew's also going to fall. So what seemed like a great start for Ego Boys. I feel like this has been a theme throughout today here, Hasbaz, that teams just keep getting a little too much excited about what just happened, and then they end up getting turned.
Yeah, Ego Boys, they get this amazing pick-off, able to kill the Wraith King twice, you know, the big core of the dire side. But then, you know, it's just that that thought, you know, really that goes through your head. Well, I've used my Exorcism. I still have a tiny bit left. Let's pressure this tier 1 mid. And as he does that, overextends. They realize he's too far forward. They punish. The rest of the side of Ego Boys, they try to defend. And then, you know, the save your friend syndrome just pays off in absolute spades. The pursuit of the Ember Spirit. That's why people, you know, love this hero for the amazing catch, as well as the Earth Spirit. You know, all spirits do benefit from that mobility. And they're able to get these 3 great return kills. And you saw, as soon as Skitter respawned, he was brought back by the Chen. So they're just able to go from tower to tower, objective to objective.
Oh, that makes sense with the Ember Spirit, yeah. I don't know if he had a Remnant, but with the Chen, I'm sure that definitely was the play. In fact, he has a Haste Rune now bottled up, too, with his Maelstrom and Drums finished. Going to be hunting for some kind of kill, I'm sure, as he's going to join up with the team. You see Earth Spirit also a Spirit Vessel finished onto him as they smoke in the mid lane. And they're going to head towards bottom. Looking at the mini-map, not really anyone down here other than their own teammate in Batrider, who's already hunting for a kill. But speaking of Batrider, he's actually taking over a second in net worth in the game right now over the Death Prophet and the Juggernaut. So Hester Joe Ryan certainly making the Batrider pick work, as we talked about earlier. Ego Boys, are they going to smoke? No, they're going to go for the 20-minute bounty rune, which they'll get both of them at the top. There is a double damage they might fight for. Oh, Mastermind, he sits in front, he picks it up, and he's like, gotcha, Death Prophet. Disruption, nice job with a double Silence Cell, the Soul Blind. They're going to have to fight that off, eventually going to wear off, though. Skitter, he mans up, and Death Prophet healing up with a Siphon. Eventually, the inevitable happens, though. They're trying to smoke away. Raisin, though, I don't think that's going to happen. Flame Break push back and the roll in to secure that kill. So, what does Ego Boys do with these pickoffs? Roshan possibly? I mean, the towers, there's no tier 1 towers up. Still trying to decide.
Yeah, it's just over there, unfortunately, for the side of Ego Boys. They run into who you don't want to catch. And the Ember Spirit, he gets the GG Room, he gets the Sight of Fist, Searing Chains. And we saw the Death Prophet, she lived for a while, but they did have enough to be able to handle her. And they're able to get the Grimstroke on the back lines as well, because, you know, we said this, they have the chase, they have the pursuit. So Team Ham, they really are kicking it off, you know. We don't want to overuse the Team Ham go ham joke, but they really are. With this Desolator, they're able to just aim objectives with such ease.
Silence up on a Wraith King. Nice pushback from Biver, helping his teammate out. Biver, although he is going to get caught because of that, and hey, it looked pretty. Keeps his teammate alive for sure. Does sacrifice himself, though. But the rest of the team falling back, and that net worth lead, it does continue to grow. And I continue to glance over at that side net worth chart, and it is a little more obvious now as to why it's actually so strong for Team Ham. I mean, hell, you got Wraith King. He's got a full Desolator now finished and working on that Blink Dagger really halfway there. So he's going to be extra strong once he has that picked up, of course. He's also, he just hit level 15, so he's got that 15 strength talent now that he picks up. Especially now with that Desolator, you figure Roshan is certainly something that Ego Boys could think to do sooner than later.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. You know, we talked about how there seemed to have been a lack of Roshans, except for the last game, which seemed to go to, I think, 4th Roshan. So, but that was a 74-minute game. With this minus armor, Team Ham, they'll probably wait till they get one more pick off, because that seems to be how they're playing. They're playing pick off into objective, and when you have a Batrider, these pick offs, they're pretty easy to secure.
Well, like a Batrider and Chan, they're just chilling here. They're hopeful that somebody will farm this creep wave, but as we see, likely not to happen anytime very soon. So it goes back to depends on how patient they really are up in this top lane, as the Radiant even scans Roshan. They see that top creep wave as well, and no one's there. So yeah, they're look at the Dire scanning it too. Both teams are very unsure of what the hell's going on right now. But overall, it seems like it still is certainly favoring Team Ham, as Chen will make his way back to the mid lane, and he could bring Batrider with him, of course, if needed, but not the case. They are going to get the Blink Dagger, though, on Wraith King, and that seems like one of these items that you certainly want to look for some bigger plays with now. Of course.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about Pepita sitting in the trees. You don't really think about it, but Pepita represents any other hero on the map. So, you know, you would have had the Batrider and the Wraith King if you had needed that follow-up damage, depending on who they had been able to find. And, you know, not happy with just waiting for people to come. It looks like they're going to smoke up, and yeah, they're not going to go into Roche Pit. They want to kill first.
Everyone smoked. No, Ember Spirit's the only one not smoked currently. Trying to bait things out. See if the Radiant team will respond, but not really the case. The Eagles just doing a lot of 4-1 strat themselves. They're playing around the Death Prophet over here, hoping that somebody jumps the Death Prophet and then they can jump. But both teams have too much of a similar idea, it feels like, right now. That means nothing's really happening, if that makes sense, at this point in the game. And, I mean, the net worth continues to stay at about an 8,000 lead, so not a lot of movement there. But Death Prophet decides to prioritize the BKB over getting, say, that earlier Ags like we saw earlier in the day, that is. But wants the BKB first.
I actually think it's the right thing to do here, because there's no point getting the BKB, getting that early Aghanim's if you're just going to die in the fights. You know, you can't output more damage if you're not going to live through them, and that's why she has the BKB, because she has been going down to the magic damage coming out from the Ember as well as the Batrider. So she just wants to be able to live through that, use her exorcism safely, and she'll go back for the Ags, as you can see.
You have a Wildering Ripper just kind of chilling in the Roshan pit. It's actually going to be pulled back by Chen. The Dire team is almost expecting, it feels like, the Radiant to maybe go for like a smoke Roshan, the way they've kind of been playing defensive around that Roshan pit. But I mean, I still stand by, you have a Deso on your Wraith King especially, you got Chen. This is a lineup that certainly could go for that Roshan themselves. But yeah, it goes back to they've been trying to make some picks happening. It's just Ego Boys is playing very defensive. Now, to be fair, because they're playing so grouped up and defensive in the same area of the map, it is opening up a lot of room for Team Ham, and they are just naturally getting a slightly better lead as a result of this as well. As I say that, Juggernaut, he is farming pretty good. He's got a Hyperstone now, looking to finish. I guess the Mjolnir is going to be delivered to him, and then he's going to go into that Manta style next at this point. So yeah, there's a full Mjolnir finish. So Tomato, he's bumping out some good damage.
Yeah, and one thing I do have to say is I feel, you know, if they are able to drag it out for the side of Ego Boys, Death Prophet, you know, does scale very nicely into this game when she is able to get that a few more levels, get that level 3 exorcism, is that bit more survivable, but Batrider, maybe he's been caught out.
Well, yeah, he went a little bit too far there. The Soulbind, and he gets taken out indeed. Skinner now in trouble because of this too. Off to the side, Fiver's being cut down by an Omni Slash. Eventually makes it away though with the distance of Skinner. He goes down, the Reincarnate going to be activated. Can they save Skinner? He blinks away, he runs right into Tomato. But Tomato does not have an Omni Slash anymore, so even chasing this seems a little silly. He's not going to catch up, but he pings out Roshan. The Radiant team, they figure they have an opening. Batrider's dead. It is a pretty good opening, I suppose, but will this work? Exorcism up as well. Here we go.
Yeah, I can't believe the Earth Spirit a bit of a lift on the side of that. The Ember Spirit, he's trying to be as annoying as possible, but they do have the remnants of this Exorcism that is really helping. They have 3 people there. And I don't quite know if they can take this Roshan. They're going with Viva.
Well, but yeah, he jumps in. Tomato's dead, by the way. Pepita even credit for the kill, but that Magnetize dishing out some good damage. But so down goes Tomato, though. Buyback on Biver, and there's the resurrection on Batrider. So Juggernaut's out for 40 seconds. He can't buy back, even if he wanted to right now. And now it's Team Ham's turn to possibly try to secure the Roshan. And I mean, they are. I mean, Exorcism's down now. You lost your Juggernaut. So that was a very bold play by Ego Boys. And I understand why. I mean, they're up 5 versus 4 there. They had Exorcism going, but it was just a solid response from Team Ham.
Yeah, Team Ham, you know, even though they're 1 person down, they're just not going to give up that objective to the side of Ego Boys. They know they can take that fight. And, you know, I was just looking at the Juggernaut's death summary, and it seems he got hit by a War Stomp, I think, coming from the Chen. So really nice micro by him, Searing Chain Silence. They committed everything for that Jug, and it meant they got everything in the form of the Aegis.
Ember Spirit shows that even with disruption, you're not guaranteed to stun him after. Zips on out with that Fire Remnant. He's good to go. Remember, he's the one that picked up that Aegis has mentioned. So worst case, coming back up anyways. But Wraith King just hit level 18, and that is a pretty important mark for him, because now that Reincarnation is down to 40 seconds. And I'm kind of looking, I was mentioning, or thinking about earlier even, that Juggernaut did not go Diffusal Blade to maybe take advantage of going up against Wraith King. It's a nice damage amp, and of course the mana burn. I wonder if he even goes for the level 20 no Reincarnation mana cost talent, or if he just actually goes to 2x Skeleton Spawn this game, because there really isn't a threat of mana burn whatsoever on the Radiant side right now.
Yeah, I mean, that is a point, but very often you see the 35 skeleton attack damage, and I'm not sure if it's worth getting those bonus skeletons, especially when Ego Boys definitely do have the AoE to deal with them, so you might just be feeding gold into their pocket. But then again, just look at the push of these things. It is, you know, it is nothing to be underestimated, and you know, it really is just personal preference, I guess, here for Skitter, because you don't always go for the no reincarnation mana cost versus mana burn. Sometimes you do go for it just so that you are able to just use everything in your kit. Use the Wraithfire Blast as many times as possible before you go down.
Yeah, no, that is a fair point, though, about his level 15, how if he was going for the 2x skeleton, would probably gone the attack damage on the skeleton, so we'll probably still see the mana cost instead. Obviously, the idea that he does have mana he uses himself, so just wants to make sure to not have to worry about that. Nothing wrong. Chen, meanwhile, kind of just chilling here for now. It looks like he's microing the creeps, going for the bounty rune, and they're going to get every single bounty rune, I believe. Yep, looks like they did. Outside of Team Ham, so they got every single bounty rune. They still have the Aegis for a good 2.5 minutes or so on Ember Spirit. I suppose they probably want his BKB first before they go for something crazy here. There's an AC picked up by Wraith King. Jeez.
Yeah, this Wraith King of Skitter is pretty big. I mean, you already have the Aegis on the Ember. I'm not sure if you need to wait for his BKB, especially because he might not have it until the Aegis expires. They only have 2 minutes remaining with this Aegis. So I think with this AC, it makes going high ground that much easier. And it looks like they're actually trying to bait out the Ember Spirit. Skitter sitting in the trees here.
Esta, he finds Centaur. There's a shrine nearby. Got to be careful with that. In fact, he's trying to pop the shrine. He gets locked down further, and they're going to kill the Centaur before he even pop it. And that's probably for the better. At least it saves it, I suppose. They also get the Shadow Demon by the way, and he just explodes. He buys back quickly. Hand of God used there by Chen. to heal up whatever damage did come out of their side. Grimstark also caught up to them from Skitter. And you can just see a couple of auto attacks, and any target that he's on just starts to melt away with their life pool. Tomato managing to spin away first, but now Skitter's going to use that Desolate to help push the mid tower. As there we go with Matthew and the Disruption, creating those illusions. Oh, so they're going to just try to break tier 3 now. As Skitter's going in deep for this. He wants to kill on Shadow Demon. One more attack. Yes, he gets it. He is going to die with the Reincarnate. Coming back up. That was an Omni Slash committed, by the way. That with the Exorcism. So Wraith King blinking away. And he got back here. Ember Spirit still making sure to get the tower killed. As it does. So tier 3 falls. Death Prophet, did he go too far by himself? And he has team support coming, and it doesn't seem like Team Ham is interested in fighting it. They're going to all make sure to get the hell on out, so nobody dies on the side of Team Ham other than the Aegis. Or no, that wasn't other than the Reincarnate. They still have the Aegis even. That was a good fight.
Yeah, most certainly a good fight for the Dire side. It's, you know, it's exactly the kind of thing you're looking for when your Aegis is ticking away. But over here, Skitter, they recalled him back into this.
Oh boy, Juggernaut. Can he somehow get out? He's going to spin and go for the turn damage. Skitter is getting low himself, but he has another Reincarnate, so he is coming back up. Mastermind. There's a lasso, by the way. Has to run and catch him with the lasso. That means Juggernaut 70 seconds. He's out for now. No buyback. Centaur's also caught and dead with no buyback. Draken trying to just run away. The Spirit Vessel applied to him, so even if he was healing, it wouldn't be for much. They get the kill on Grimstroke, and they're going to finish the job on a Death Prophet. It's an absolute wipeout for Team Ham, and yet again the case of they did not lose a single person themselves other than the Reincarnate from Wraith King.
Radiant's middle barracks are under
Yeah,
attack.
I mean, Team Ham, where was this team in the previous games? They're just able to go from kill to kill, initiation to initiation. Esther Joe Rotten has been doing a great job about it, and they play around this Chen of Peter so well. They know there's no buyback on all these heroes, so they're just going to finish the game. They push so fast. The Minus armor, it's not just on heroes, it's on the buildings with the Deso as well as the AC, and they call GG. Yeah. Team Ham, they've managed to take their first game here in the TI qualifiers.
Yeah, congratulations to them. Now 1 and 2 in the group stages. Eagle Boys will be the same. With this loss, that puts them at 1 and 2 as well. So obviously a very big victory, at least for the sake of Team Ham. But that's got to feel good for them. Still, like I keep going back to, though, plenty of work to be done. 4 more games, in fact, for each of these teams. I think they both even have a game later on today themselves. Have to wait and see there. But point is, Team Ham with the victory. Both teams now with a 1 and 2 record as a result here in the qualifying groups. But yeah, you kind of pointed at it too. It's, you know, where was this Team Ham from earlier? This was the 3rd time we got to see them today. I mean, to be fair, their first matchup, Pain Gaming, arguably, in my opinion, the team I actually have moving on out of South America. So a very difficult matchup there. They played pretty well coming on the losing end. And then they just lost a 75-minute game that they were ahead in for a good amount of, in the mid-game at least, into even the later games. So I think Team Ham is still one of my favorites as far as at least going to the top 4, and then who knows what can happen from there. But I go back to, it's got to feel good to get a victory finally under their belt.
Yeah, if Team Ham can continue to play around that, it was... The thing I really liked is it was very clear that they had a game plan, how to play around this Chen hero. He did really great work working with Hester Joe Rossen, recalling in the people to do the damage whenever he got the lassos. Hester Joe Rossen, you see why this is his signature hero. I mean, I think he won the lane against the Juggernaut. That is something that should not be possible on the Batrider. So massive props to him for doing that. And massive props to Team Ham who have turned up here, and a sad commiseration for Ego Boys, but they've already got their win, but obviously they wanted another one.
Yeah. But that means our coverage here for myself and Hasbaz will be coming to an end at 5 games in the book. That's it for our official coverage of the South American qualifiers. Obviously, I'm just saying for us as casters, there will still be plenty more, and it pretty much goes, I think, 24/7 even, between these 3 regions that are happening right now, between South America, Southeast Asia, and CIS. And then we go into North America, as well as China and Europe, of course, the following days to come there. So looking forward to plenty more. We're just getting started with these qualifiers. This really is one of the best weeks as a spectator, especially a fan of Dota, and knowing just how much is on the line. And the format this year, I think I love it. I mean, we've had formats in the past years where 2 or 3 teams even make it from regions. It kind of makes for the later matches a little like almost not matter. It's kind of funky. This is just look, you have to win it. You have to win your region's tournament to go to TI9. Something about that just feels right. It feels good, and I'm glad that we got the format that we did this year on a personal note. But before we officially wrap up ourselves, Hasbaz, give you the chance. Any last words yourself? Any shout-outs?
Well, I just want to say I agree with you, the format, because if you should have had more slots, they would have qualified through the rest of the DPC season. And I mean, that's the kind of thing we saw from Europe. Is it 5 people from Europe have already made it to TI? It's absolutely insane. And also just the format of the qualifiers themselves, you know, the round robin into a double elimination playoff bracket. It means we get the best of Dota, and truly the creme de creme should rise to the top. So yeah, just I guess I'll plug myself firstly. Thanks to BTS for having me, and thank you very much, Breaky. And if you enjoyed my casting, follow me here on Twitch at Hasbaz, or on Twitter at Hasbaz Games. And I guess that's it for me.
All right, Hasbaz, appreciate it, man. Always a pleasure to cast with you. As far as you guys tuning in, hopefully you enjoyed. We had 5 games we covered today. Continuing coverage, though, will happen between the BTS streams. Obviously, the main channel, number 2 and number 3. At times when necessary as well. So congratulations for this match for Team Ham. Anything can still happen, though. When you look at the group standings, we got plenty more to go. Have a good night, guys. See you next time. As always, BreakyCPK, joined by Hasbaz, the South American TI9 qualifying coverage. It will continue. We're just wrapping up here on this stream for now.